Hello everyone, Janet Smith here with Affirmation Threads. Welcome back to another day of knitting. In November, we're knitting every day. We have accepted the challenge from the American Cancer Society to host a fundraiser, and I have decided to make it sort of a knit-a-thon. Daily knitting. With your donations, I am creating a new item every day. And that item is going to be donated to cancer patients going through chemo. You can sponsor a beanie, you can sponsor a cinched headband, or you can sponsor a neck warmer, whatever you like. And those are going to be donated to cancer patients. We all know someone, either personally or indirectly, that has been affected, or know someone that has been affected by someone that has been affected by cancer. It's something that is a sensitive subject for some and a challenge for others. We're doing what we can to make it cozy and comfortable for chemo patients. Won't you help us? Let's go in a little bit closer so you can see the project that we're working on today. Welcome. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I think there's a bit of an echo. If there's an echo on your side, let me know. Good morning, Dimps Designs. Thank you for tuning in. So glad that you're checking in with us on YouTube. That's awesome. Hopefully you can hear me okay. So welcome to the Knit-a-thon / sponsor a stitch. Awesome. Today we're actually going to be using Big Twist. We're going to be using this white color. And we're going to create a chemo neckband / head warmer, or a headband, neck warmer / headband. I say that because it's versatile. Everything is pretty much versatile. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. So let's get started. Today we're using the Addi. Yesterday we used my Sentro Circular Knitting Machine. Today, since this project is a little bit smaller, it doesn't have to be as wide, we're going to use the Addi Express machine. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad that you can hear me okay. Cool. Oh, and you have a central? Awesome. The 48 pin central, I love it for creating larger beanies. And this one I like for like child or smaller heads beanies on the Addi Express. So that's cool. So since we're doing a neck warmer, I'm going to give myself a little bit of a tail so that I can have space to close the end up. We're going to crochet the end, so we don't need that much of a tail. But I'm starting on the first pin, giving myself a little bit of slack in my yarn. And I'm just going to go ahead and create that foundation stitch, which is weaving in and out of every stitch. On the Addi, I'm starting with the first pin, which is the black pin. And this one, you want to take a little bit slow. When I say this one, I mean this first round, because this is the foundation for our project. You know you've done it right if you end with the last part of your yarn going around the back of that last needle. So now that I've gone all the way around, I'm going to reset my counter back to 0. And today I'm actually going to use my helper. When I say helper, this is what I'm referring to. My drill that helps me go a bit faster on the machine. I have an attachment for my Addi and then an attachment for the Centro. This is the attachment for the Addi. But before I use that, I like to have at least 10 rows down. And we're only on row 1. The big twist yarn works really, really good with both machines. It works really good with the Addi that I'm using and also with the Sentro. And when I say really good, meaning that the yarn doesn't get stuck, it doesn't get snagged, um, it just flows really easily. Good morning, Kelly. Thank you for tuning in. I see you joining us over on Instagram. Awesome. How are you doing today? On this neck warmer slash headband, we're going to go to 96 rows. It's going to be a twisted, actually, yeah, this is going to be, are we going to do a folded or a cinched? I'm going to decide if we're going to do folded or if we're going to do cinched. We're going to do cinched. We're going to do a cinched headband slash neck warmer. So we are on row 15. We've actually gone beyond, actually, we're on 16. We've gone beyond the 10 row. And so I'm going to start using my helper here so that we can go a little bit faster and be more efficient today. Just going to give myself more slack first. I like using this because I can adjust the speed. Um, it doesn't have to go just in super speed, super hyper speed, because I don't want to um, cause any issues with my machine. So I can control how fast it goes. I just remembered what I forgot. I just remembered what I forgot. And unfortunately, fortunately, I'm going to have to start over because when I'm creating a neckband slash head warmer, I have to have um, stitches on each end. So I'm going to have to start over. I'm going to take this out and I'm going to bind off or cast off the project so I can start over. But that's okay. One thing though, I'm going to just cut it so I don't have to unravel this. And who knows, I may be able to do something with this itself. So I'm going to start with my starter rows. And this cast on here is so that I can have the edge on the project where I'll be able to easily see the end of the stitches. So we're casting on again. So I forgot, but you don't have to forget. Now we're going to put this in the yarn feeder. And I'm going to do about 6 rows. I have my beginning and ending yarn whenever I do the projects that need to have the buffer. I have it about 6 rows long, 5 or 6 rows long. Go around one more time. And now we're going to add the main color, giving myself a little bit on the end, a little bit of extra. And I'm going to reset my row counter to 0. And now we're going to go to 96 rows. And on the other end, we're going to add the other buffer. Once I get to row 10, I'll bring back my friend here so that we can be a bit more efficient in our stitches. We're on row 6. All right, we're now well past row 10. So let's go back to our Cool, right? I think it's cool. I'm gonna pause for a moment just so that I can roll this up on the end and it doesn't drag the table too much. And we'll continue to row 96. We're on row 65 right now. One row away from 96. I'm going to put my little gun / drill away. And I'll be able to hand crank the rest of the way. Giving myself a little bit of extra tail. Adding it to the inside and now adding the buffer on the other end. And then we're going to do an extra 5 to 6 rows on this side. This will allow us to easily see the stitches so that we can close the end of the project. Oh, Miss Kelly, I see you're now on YouTube. Multitasking, multi-streaming in 2 places. Thanks for joining. All right, so now we're at the end of this buffer. I'm going to take that out of the feeder. And now I'm just going to cast off. Perfect. All finished. So let's get the Addi out of the way so that we can go ahead and finish this up. One thing I love about the Addi Express is it has the clamps where you can easily clamp it to the table and it's not going to move. These clamps are amazing. So no color changes here. So we're able to just go right into stretching and getting this ready to be closed. So I'm gonna, well, let's pull out my ends here. So first going to stretch it lengthwise, then widthwise, just to let all of our stitches fall into place. And on each end, I'm going to use my crochet hook so that I can close up the end with a crochet. And it may be kind of hard to see this, but using a contrasting color, it allows you to see where the end of the stitches are, the last row, so that I can easily crochet those together and close the project. Want to just give you an idea of where we are in the calendar here. As I stated before, you're able to sponsor either the cinched headband slash neck warmer or the cinch headband that has a band around it, as well as the beanie. There's still more spaces in the calendar for you to donate. Your donations go directly to the American Cancer Society, but it allows me to create an item so that that item can be donated to cancer patients going through chemo. So I'm going to start on the end here. The way that I've lined this up, the end or the tail from the project is on the left hand side, and I flatten it out and then start with the stitch that's in the middle, and I just pick up the stitch, trying to get closer, and pull it through. I'm going from top to bottom. Pick up a stitch, careful not to pick up the buffer yarn, and pull it through. We're going to do this on both sides. I could have even used a darker contrasting yarn to make it even easier to see, but I can still see the stitches. You may not be able to see them easily on the camera. Now you see why we needed to start over, because in the beginning I did not have this buffer on the end, and I would not have been able to easily pick up the stitches. It could have been done, but it would have taken a lot longer. And this hook is small enough that allows me to easily get through. I'm using a 3.75. It's a F size. This yarn from Big Twist is I think it's a 4. Yeah, medium weight 4. And once you get to the end, just pull the tail through. And then we'll be able to remove the waste yarn, which I call the buffer. This is my favorite part, removing the waste yarn, because it pulls right off. Voila. Now we have our finished edge. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Putting the tail on the end, lining everything up, and crocheting it closed. Alternating from top to bottom. Making sure not to pick up the waste yarn. Almost at the end. Make sure I don't leave any stitches because I don't want to have a hole If there's a skipped stitch, it will create a hole. I think I got them all. Pulling the tail through. Now, once again, we can remove the waste yarn. And voila. So now we have another finished edge on both sides. So I can stretch this again before we seam it together. So on this end, we're going to fold it. On the opposite end, we're also going to fold it. And I'm going to take my darning needle, thread one side through so we can seam it together. So here we're going to just sandwich it together. This fold inside of that fold. Turn it this way. And we're going to sew through all layers. Just to cinch it closed. I like using the metal darning needle because it just goes through so much smoother. And also having the curved edge here, or the bent edge, I guess it's not curved, but it's bent. It helps to get into stitches as well. The metal along with the curved edge is just beneficial in more ways than one. So we made it through. I'm just going to go back to the other side. You don't have to go back through to the other side again. I just feel like making it more secure. And then once you get to the end, you can create a knot. A couple of times. And since this is the double walled project, you can feed the end through And it's going to be in the middle. And just weave it through. Cut off the edge. And you can do that same thing with the other side, the other end. Just going to weave it through and come out in the middle. The middle meaning there's two walls here. So it's on the inside. And once I pull this all the way through, it's stuck on the inside, absorbed. So now we have it nice and cinched. And once we flip it over, we then have our cinched headband / neck warmer. How cool is that? Let's add the tag. We have a Made with Love tag. I'm going to get my grommets this way. The tags snap, but I have this tool that helps to make sure it's fastened together. And it actually wasn't lined up. Let's line that back up. Here. I think maybe this one is just not. Oh, something wrong with the end there. Let's get another end. Now, let's try it again. There we go. Now we have our tag. And we can add the handcrafted tag. Before we deliver it. Awesome. Now we have another item ready to be donated. Thank you for joining us on today's Sponsor a Stitch. We are knitting every day this month. Hopefully you can join us on the live, and hopefully you can donate to sponsor an item that will go to a cancer patient going through chemo. You can sponsor a beanie, a cinched headband, neck warmer like this, or a cinched headband that we're going to do tomorrow. I'll show you what that one looks like as well. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.